Hey guys, welcome back to VW Family Farm. If you have found this video, you may be watching this today when it has been uploaded. Hey Rosemary. Or you may be watching this sometime in the future because you are interested in either making a nurse cow out of your cow or you have a situation on your hands. So let's explore some of those and maybe solve some of your problems. You can see behind me, we have two of our milk cows. We have had milk cows here on our farm for years. We have recently purchased these two. We purchased them from another farmer that milks on a home dairy, small number of cows. These cows are very trained. They came to us very calm. So that's an important component of having a milk cow, nurse cow. It's going to be difficult to take a cow that is wild and make her a nurse cow because you're going to need to be in close contact, close quarters with her. You can see these two are just calm as can be. And before we go any further, these are Jerseys. They're a dairy breed. Yes, I know you can see her ribs and her hip bones. That is a Jersey for you. They are not a beef breed. They do not carry their weight up, like a beef cow does. They're not beefy, if you will. They make milk. That's what they do. She is not thin. She is good looking. She just had a calf in the last few weeks. So yes, while she is probably not on the heavier side of a Jersey because she did just give birth, she is by no means unhealthy. And sometimes it also depends on what angle you're looking at her from. That is Fancy. This is Rosemary. They're both very healthy. Very, very good cows. Okay, so you need to take into consideration their temperament. Reasons you might be doing this. And this video is going to be kind of just a comprehensive overview of why you might be doing this and how to do it based on our experience of things that have worked. So just a little bit of our situation here this time and our situations in the past. The situation right now, we bought these two girls. We have two other Jerseys and they are dry right now. We're waiting on them to calve in a couple months. We bought these so that we could have two other Jerseys in milk. Rosemary back there, her calf died as she was giving birth to it at her previous farm. So she came to us with no calf. Fancy came here about to deliver, quickly delivered shortly after arriving. So we had two cows in milk, an abundance of milk. And basically I went from milking when I wanted to with my other two cows and calf sharing, which basically just in a nutshell means I would put the calves up at night, give them grain, milk the cows in the morning, and then put them out together during the day. So I didn't have an overwhelming amount of milk to deal with, and I could basically do it when I wanted to on my schedule. So I went from that to these two girls, her having an abundance of milk because she just freshened, her having no calf. So I was milking 7 days a week, twice a day, and getting like 16, 17 gallons a day. So it just went from 0 to 60. I didn't have the customer base to support that just yet. I was selling a lot of milk, but not quite that much. So there you go. We decided that we didn't want to be that tied down. So we went to the local sale barn yesterday and we bought some calves. We went a little crazy, I will say that. We bought 4. So Fancy already has a calf in there. That is playing in our favor in this situation. We bought 4. We could have just bought 1 and put 1 on Rosemary and Fancy has hers. That would have worked out. We bought 4 more. So there's going to be 5 calves on these 2 cows. I'll explain that in a bit, why we did that and why you might want to consider raising multiple calves on a cow. But let me say reasons we have had nurse cows in the past, why you might want to put a calf on a cow that is not its mom. A few years ago, we had a storm come through and strike a cow with lightning that had just calved and killed her. And we go out there and find her dead with her newborn calf there beside her with no mama, and it was pitiful. And so we had to start the process of getting our milk cow to take that baby. She did. It was successful. It turned out to be a great, beautiful, big, healthy calf. That situation. We have had cows, beef cows, give birth to twins that then they rejected one. So then we would put it on our nurse cow, our Jersey. All kinds of situations and scenarios. Also, reasons you might put cows on a nurse cow. It's profitable. That's one of the reasons. Some of these are Angus calves. It's a profitable thing to do. Your Jersey is going to have way more milk than one calf can drink. It might drink it all, but it could support multiple calves. That's what milk cows do. They produce a lot of milk. So if you can take multiple calves, we bought these for an average of about $4.50 a piece. The cattle market is very high right now. We can raise these for a few months, say maybe 6 months at the most, take them back. They might bring $1,500. Maybe not that much, but you see what I'm saying? The cattle market is through the roof. So you can really turn a profit raising calves if you have a nurse cow. Lots of different scenarios. Now, most people do this with Jerseys. Most people do this with milk breeds, and a lot of times it is with Jerseys. There's a few other dairy breeds that they do it with. Jerseys have a good temperament to do this with. They're likely to accept them. And the main reason is just the volume of milk and the milk fat that they produce. It's a good, rich milk, and it can support, the volume of milk they produce supports multiple calves at a time. So this situation, we have multiple calves in there, and we are going to attempt to get these mamas to take them. So the next part of this video is, how are we going to do that? So this is Fancy's actual baby. You can see he's very satisfied. He's laid over in the barn just chilling. He's nursed this morning. That is going to help us a lot because he is actually nursing no problem because it is his actual mom and training the others. So it's a bit different if you don't have one of them's actual calf. If you're trying to just add a calf on, that the actual calf will train the orphaned calf or the new calf on what to do, as long as your cow will accept them. Now, we've had situations in the past where the cow takes a bit to warm up to the calf. Not every cow is going to take a calf that is not her own as easy as another. These cows have taken these no problem. The problem we've had with these is getting the calves to try. You can see these are pretty satisfied. We came out here this morning and worked with them a bit. Our problem with these is a couple of them are kind of sickly. This one right here, and there's a black one back there I'll show you in a bit. They're not feeling the best, and if they don't feel the best, they tend to not try to nurse. So a couple things we have done in the past. We have, we milk our cows here. So if this is just a cow you own that you use as a nurse cow, but you never milk her, this is going to be a bit different. If you have a milking stanchion you can get them up in and feed them so that they are used to doing that, so they'll just stand there and eat. And then if the calf is a baby, that you can kind of manhandle a little bit because it's not huge and as powerful as a bit bigger one, that you can then get its head up there and kind of squeeze some milk into its mouth. When they taste that milk, that is very motivating for them. Hunger is very, very motivating. So once you can do that, then it's kind of all over from there. Once they figure out where the source of food is, you may have to do that a couple times, morning and night for a day or so. But they are pretty persistent when they figure it out. Now, you also may need to pin them up pretty tight. You see, we have these in a pretty small area. They've got the access to this little barn area, these little stalls. You may even have to go smaller than that in just the stalls. You don't want to get too small if your cow is kind of aggressive and headbutting and kicking. But cows will also headbutt gently, I know that sounds funny, and kick just a little bit to say, hey, you're not my calf. That's just normal. The calf has to get persistent enough to push through that and say, hey, no, I'm going to nurse you. I am hungry. And eventually the cow will stop doing that. It sometimes may take a week but you have to be persistent enough if you want this to work. Sometimes, let me take you around here. We've been able to use our corral, and it's a pretty big area. One of my other cows is actually in here right now, but we've been able to put them in this pretty good size area when it was just one cow and one calf. And that's worked. Just putting them in there to get used to each other. And eventually the calf will start nursing. Couple things you really need to watch out for though, for this to work. Calves can only go so long without eating. So if you are trying to make this work, you may have to milk your cow and give them some sustenance in a bottle, or force the cow somehow, like I said, in a stanchion. Or even if this is not a cow you milk, if she's trained to where you can put a halter on her and tie her up so that she'll stand there. Maybe you do milk her, but you don't milk her in a barn or in a milk stanchion. You milk her out in the pasture. If you could just tie her up in your barn so she'll stand still, and then you can get the calf latched on. If those don't work, like I said, you may have to give it a bottle to give it enough strength to keep trying. If it's really down, you may have to tube feed it, where you're actually putting the tube in its stomach and giving it some nutrition. You have to keep the calf's strength up because they'll go down quickly. A couple of these, I'm going to take you in here and show you, were kind of sickly when we bought them. So the calves we are working with right now, this is Fancy's actual calf over there. He's healthy as can be. The rest of these came from the sale barn. This one right here is a healthy, good-looking calf. This one laid over in the sun, healthy, good-looking calf. I'm trying to point and look at a camera. Now, the other two are not. This one right back there and the one laid on the ground. They're just kind of puny looking. When they stand up, they're kind of hunched up. Their ears are kind of droopy. They're just not real perky. They don't have a lot of drive to eat. The one that's kind of red and white has more drive than the black one. We don't like antibiotics here on our farm. We don't use them preventatively. But in this situation, if you don't do something to intervene, you will lose a calf very quickly. So I did give a combination of Baytril and Banamine. You use what you feel comfortable using and what dosage you feel comfortable using. I'm no vet, but you probably need to think about intervening, and you need to watch them very closely. Another thing you need to watch is about a week after a stressful situation, and I'm sure these guys have been through some stress in the last week or so. That's probably what led them to the sale barn. They've probably been worked through a corral at their farm they came from, and they've been at a sale barn. Who knows what all led them to be there. They can get what's called shipping fever or Pasteurella, and that will take them out quick. When we first bought our big herd of cows, we'd had a few cows, maybe 20 here and there over the years, but we went all in and bought like 72 cows, and we had a lesson real quick. The stressful event of buying them and them being brought here, we had shipping fever spread through the entire herd, and we lost a portion of the calves that we had just bought. It was devastating, it was scary, and we felt like our world was ending because we had spent a large amount of money to go into this business, and it was dying, and it was scary, and we were educated really fast on this. And so if I can stress anything to you, it's if you are going to buy calves, watch them about 7 to 8 to 10 days later after you buy them, because that is when it will set in. And even sooner, because like I said, if the stressful event has happened before that, before you bought them, which most likely it has, that led them to be there, you could have a situation on your hands. Take their temperature, take their rectal temperature, just go to the dollar store and get a thermometer. You can take their temperature, educate yourself on what their temperature should be, all the things that you're looking for. That's a whole nother video. Anyway, you don't want to do all this and then lose the things that you purchased. So watch for the health of the calves. So you have got these, you've got them pinned up, you are starting to get them to nurse, and When things start going well and you notice them start to nurse, that's the stage we're at. We just bought these yesterday. You can start to let them out into a larger area. I'm about to let these out into the corral. If you notice there's a bale of hay out there, I'm gonna let these out so the cows can have a little more room, not necessarily for the calves, but for the cows, so they can eat hay and have more room. We will keep an eye on them, make sure they're eating at least morning and night, make sure we're seeing that everyone's nursing. There's nursing going on right now. That one that I told you is sickly is over there nursing Fancy. Her calf is nursing, so he's sneaking some milk. That's the thing. Calves are smart and they're sneaky. They will find milk. When they figure out where it's coming from, they will start to nurse. So you just have to introduce the process and help them along, and nature will take over. It's pretty cool, guys. I hope I covered a lot of the things to help you with nurse cows and raising calves that may be orphaned. Maybe you want to take advantage of all the milk that your cow has, make it more profitable, all the different reasons. There's many reasons why you might do this, and I hope I covered some of those and helped you guys out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Check out some of our other videos here on our channel, and we'll see you later. God bless.